We always tease each other. He was, you know, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, you know, if I lost you and I, you know, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. Like, this is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list. I didn't. I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, okay, think of someone. Think of someone. Bob Newhart. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying.
And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that, and we should all have friends like that.
Blake Lively's rumored exit from the United States has thrown gasoline on an already raging firestorm of speculation. What started as a behind-the-scenes clash over the film adaptation of It Ends With Us has now escalated into a whirlwind of accusations, denials, and what some are calling a full-blown international escape. Multiple online sources claimed that Lively secretly boarded a flight just hours after shocking courtroom testimony suggested that some of the explosive allegations she made against Justin Baldoni might have been fabricated. Neither Lively nor her reps have confirmed her whereabouts, but Hollywood insiders and fans alike are left reeling. How did things spiral this out of control? And what does her sudden disappearance mean for the fate of the highly anticipated film? Trouble first brewed during pre-production when whispers of creative clashes between Lively and Baldoni started making waves. Lively allegedly pushed for a stylish, modern twist, complete with high-fashion looks and a touch of humor, to give the film broader appeal. But Baldoni, known for his deep, emotionally charged storytelling, was determined to stay true to the novel's raw, gut-wrenching essence, even if it meant a smaller box office return. At first, it seemed like just another Hollywood disagreement. 2 strong, creative visions battling for dominance. But what happened next turned this into something far more scandalous. Things took a sharp, dramatic turn when Blake Lively slapped Justin Baldoni with a lawsuit, accusing him of freezing her out of creative decisions and forcing comedic elements into the film against her will. She came armed with what she claimed was hard evidence. Emails, text messages, and meeting transcripts allegedly proving that she had always been against making the film more playful. Her supporters rallied behind her, calling her a fierce advocate for artistic integrity. But Baldoni's fans were left baffled. After all, he had built his career on meaningful, inclusive storytelling. Why would he suddenly dismiss another creator's vision? On the surface, it seemed like just 2 sides defending the truth. Then came the bombshell. Baldoni fired back with a countersuit. He didn't just deny Lively's claims. He outright called them fabricated. According to him, he had receipts of his own, records that not only contradicted her version of events, but allegedly exposed suspicious timestamps on her so-called evidence. The implication? Possible manipulation. That's when the industry took notice. And when Disney publicly threw its weight behind Baldoni, it sent shockwaves through Hollywood. But the real game changer came during a courtroom showdown, where Lively's evidence was put under the microscope. Literally. No one saw it coming, but forensic experts reportedly uncovered major irregularities in the digital footprint of the emails and texts Lively submitted. The specifics remain sealed, but leaks suggest that data markers and version histories didn't align with the official production timeline. Suddenly, the narrative flipped, and Lively was the one scrambling for answers. With these damning revelations piling up, Baldoni's legal team wasted no time pressing forward. They claimed to have even more proof, evidence that would directly expose inconsistencies in Lively's documentation when compared to the actual production logs. Suddenly, this wasn't just a creative dispute. It was starting to look like something much bigger. Had Lively knowingly submitted altered records? Or was she being used as a pawn by someone else pulling the strings? Tension in the courtroom skyrocketed as all eyes locked onto Lively. Witnesses described her as visibly shaken while her legal team scrambled to downplay the findings. They argued that any discrepancies were minor, nothing more than common mix-ups in email storage or archiving. But as the questioning intensified, whispers rippled through the courtroom. Lively's explanations weren't landing. The judge, aiming to be thorough, ordered an additional evidentiary hearing to allow forensic analysts to dig even deeper. And that seemed to be the breaking point. Mere hours after leaving the courthouse, rumors exploded. Lively had booked a flight overseas. At first, it sounded too outrageous to believe, a Hollywood powerhouse like her suddenly skipping town. But as the silence from her camp dragged on, the speculation only grew louder. Friends and close insiders refused to spill details, saying only that Lively was taking time to reflect and had no statement to make. That didn't stop social media from erupting. Some fans defended her, claiming she was being unfairly backed into a corner. Others saw it as a clear-cut sign of guilt. For those who had admired her bold fight for creative control, her sudden vanishing act felt like a shocking twist no one saw coming. Now, the biggest question remains. Where did she go? Theories are flying. Some say she's hiding out in a secluded European villa. Maybe Italy or France, far from the Hollywood chaos. Others suspect she's gone full reclusive, escaping to a tropical island where she can disappear completely. A few even speculate that she might be laying low in Canada or Australia, close enough to the industry, but just out of reach of relentless paparazzi. One thing's for sure, wherever Blake Lively is, she doesn't want to be found. No matter where Blake Lively fled, one thing was undeniable. Her sudden exit from the U.S. only made the situation look worse. Overnight, speculation exploded that the court findings weren't just damaging. They were devastating to her reputation. And if that wasn't enough, the press wasted zero time tying this chaos to another bombshell. Whispers that Ryan Reynolds had already filed for separation, or at the very least, was weighing his options. The details are murky, but the implication? Reynolds, Hollywood's king of charm and business savvy, was blindsided by just how deep Lively's alleged misrepresentations ran. Up until now, he had stayed mostly quiet, offering only lukewarm support when pressed about her legal battle with Baldoni. But with her credibility under fire and legal consequences looming, the real question is, can their seemingly perfect marriage survive a scandal this massive? So far, Reynolds and his team have stayed completely silent on Lively's abrupt departure, fueling theories that behind closed doors, he's scrambling to figure out his next move. Could he be distancing himself from the fallout? Or is he privately standing by her, trying to navigate the storm? And what about Justin Baldoni? His reaction to Lively's vanishing act has been surprisingly measured. In a brief public statement, he admitted he was disappointed that things had escalated to the point of overshadowing the film itself. No finger-pointing, no dramatic accusations. Just a quiet confidence that once the courts fully analyzed the evidence, the truth would speak for itself. Behind the scenes, insiders say Baldoni is laser-focused on clearing his name and ensuring the integrity of the adaptation remains intact. But that hasn't stopped the media frenzy from shifting its gaze. Now, the biggest question dominating headlines. Did Lively's sudden disappearance confirm Baldoni's allegations? Or was she simply retreating from the overwhelming pressure? One way or another, this saga is far from over. Disney's role in this unfolding drama is yet another explosive twist. Industry insiders whisper that Disney's legal team conducted a deep dive into the communication surrounding It Ends With Us, not just to protect their investment, but to get ahead of any potential fallout. What they allegedly found was not just minor inconsistencies, but blatant contradictions between Blake Lively's public claims and the actual internal records from the production. This could explain why Disney didn't hesitate to throw its full support behind Baldoni, even supplying him with a top-tier legal team. Speculation is running wild that the media giant wants to distance itself from any controversy that could taint the film or, more importantly, its lucrative relationship with Baldoni. But publicly, Disney is staying silent, offering nothing more than generic statements about respecting the legal process and hoping for a fair resolution. And as if things weren't chaotic enough, unconfirmed reports suggest that Lively has been reaching out to select industry insiders for guidance, or even a safe haven. Some tabloids claim she's turned to international allies who could shield her from the relentless media circus. Others insist she's completely cut off contact, even from her longtime publicists, afraid that one more leak could send her entire situation spiraling further out of control. Meanwhile, her supporters on social media are in full-blown defense mode, painting her as a victim of Hollywood's brutal politics. A star who fought for creative authenticity, only to be crushed by a powerful alliance of producers, Disney executives, and Baldoni's camp. But even among her most loyal fans, cracks are beginning to show. Many remember how enthusiastic she was about It Ends With Us in the beginning, praising the novel, gushing about the project, and claiming she was deeply invested in its emotional depth. Now, those same supporters are struggling with damning evidence suggesting she not only embraced comedic elements, but may have actively worked behind the scenes to cover it up. Is Lively the wronged artist she claims to be? Or is this the unraveling of a carefully constructed facade? The world is watching, and it's not looking away anytime soon. The sense of betrayal is hitting hard. Many who once saw Blake Lively as a fearless champion of artistic integrity are now grappling with the unsettling possibility that she misled not just the public, but her own colleagues. And while her sudden departure from the US has hijacked the headlines, one thing is certain. The legal system doesn't stop just because someone skips town. If the ongoing forensic analysis of her records definitively proves wrongdoing, a ruling could come whether she's present or not. And Baldoni's defamation countersuit? That's still very much in play, meaning Lively could be looking at serious financial repercussions. Worse yet, her decision to leave could make any potential settlement a logistical nightmare. Typically, Hollywood disputes end with a quiet behind-the-scenes resolution, both parties sitting down, hashing things out, and moving on. But how do you negotiate when one side is physically unreachable? If Lively remains in hiding and refuses to engage, the window for settlement may slam shut completely. From a career standpoint, the damage could be even more brutal. Casting directors, producers, and major studios pay attention when a controversy spirals this far out of control. Even if the courts don't impose severe penalties, the perception that she fled to dodge accountability could haunt her for years. Hollywood has a long memory when it comes to risk, and investors don't like unpredictability. The big question now, can Lively pull off a strategic PR comeback from abroad, or would a public campaign only pour gasoline on the fire? Right now, staying quiet might be your safest move, but silence won't stop the legal system from marching forward. And then there's It Ends With Us, a film now drowning in controversy. Could the production really move forward without Lively? Sure, but replacing a lead this deep into development isn't just a logistical nightmare. It's a financial disaster. Script rewrites, reshoots, and PR damage control could cost the studio millions. One thing is clear. Whether she returns or remains in exile, the fallout from this saga is far from over. Hollywood producers are on edge, fearing that no matter what they do, the It Ends With Us adaptation will be haunted by scandal. If the film makes it to theaters, will the controversy overshadow the reviews, the performances, and even the marketing? Or worse, will audiences boycott it altogether? Some fans argue that the smartest move is to hit pause. Let the legal battle play out, wait for the dust to settle, and then decide the film's future. Others insist that pushing forward might be the best course of action, especially if public sentiment continues shifting in Baldoni's favor. If the courts officially rule that Lively falsified records, it could be a turning point, transforming Baldoni into the wrong party and giving supporters a reason to rally behind his vision for the film. But for now, all eyes remain on Blake Lively's disappearance. If she thought skipping town would cool down the media frenzy, the opposite has happened. Speculation about her whereabouts and motives is only intensifying. Will she break her silence from her secret hideout, using social media to defend herself, deny the allegations, and try to reclaim control of the narrative? Or will she stay silent, hoping the chaos eventually burns itself out? Either way, with It Ends With Us carrying such massive expectations, and with Disney in the mix, this scandal isn't fading anytime soon. And then there's the human element of all this. Blake Lively isn't just any actress. She built an empire on her charisma, her effortless style, and her ability to win over audiences in both comedy and drama. Whether she deliberately orchestrated a cover-up or got caught in the middle of a messy production war, the fallout has to be devastating. And if Ryan Reynolds really is stepping back, whether out of confusion or self-preservation, Lively may find herself completely alone. This saga isn't just a legal battle anymore. It's turning into one of the most jaw-dropping scandals Hollywood has seen in years. Under immense pressure, fleeing the country might have felt like Blake Lively's only option. A desperate attempt to carve out a sliver of peace, or at the very least, distance from the chaos. But if her sudden departure was a calculated move to evade the legal consequences, it might have just made her situation 1,000 times worse. For Justin Baldoni, this entire spectacle must feel unreal. What started as a promising creative partnership has steamrolled into a legal battleground. Lawsuits, possible evidence tampering, and now an international disappearance by one of Hollywood's biggest stars. While some see Baldoni as a steadfast figure, unwavering in his defense of truth, others point out that no one escapes a scandal of this magnitude completely unscathed. Even if he's ultimately vindicated, being at the center of a headline-dominating legal war could give studios and investors pause. In an industry obsessed with smooth productions and controversy-free talent, will future projects hesitate before attaching Baldoni's name? Stepping back, this entire disaster is a cautionary tale about the dangers of letting public perception dictate professional decisions. When early fan reactions slammed the idea of comedic elements in It Ends With Us, rumors swirled that Lively panicked, terrified of backlash. Did she then try to shift the blame onto Baldoni to protect her own image? Only the courts can decide the truth, but one thing is undeniable. This situation is a masterclass in how fast the stakes can skyrocket when social media enters the mix. In Hollywood, reputations are built on star power and public goodwill. But when that goodwill shatters, careers can collapse overnight. And if Lively really felt so cornered that she had to run, it speaks volumes about just how high the stakes truly are. Blake Lively's sudden disappearance is the most shocking twist yet in a scandal that has shattered expectations. What started as a simple creative clash has mutated into a full-blown saga, entangled in lawsuits, potential evidence tampering, corporate power moves, and relationships on the brink of collapse. Personal, professional, or both. Nothing is safe anymore. The biggest question now, will Lively return to face the courts, or is she planning to navigate this firestorm from afar? For now, the world watches as the chaos continues to unfold in real time, exposing the raw mix of ambition, fear, and emotional turmoil that can explode when artistic visions collide under the unforgiving glare of Hollywood's spotlight. With each passing day and no resolution in sight, fans, media outlets, and industry insiders are obsessively tracking every whisper, leak, and official statement about Lively's whereabouts. This drama has gripped audiences not just because of its scandalous twists, but because it hits all the classic Hollywood pressure points. A celebrity marriage on the rocks, a high-stakes defamation battle, and the crushing weight of living up to the expectations of a passionate and demanding fan base. It Ends With Us was supposed to be a love letter to a beloved novel. Instead, it has turned into a Hollywood cautionary tale, a ruthless example of how quickly personal and professional worlds can collide, spiral, and leave careers in ruins. At the heart of this storm is an actress once adored for her composure and charm, now vanished, possibly running from the very spotlight she once commanded. And with the world watching, there may be nowhere left to hide. With no official statement from Blake Lively, speculation is running wild. Some believe she's simply biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to stage a comeback and take control of the narrative. Others think this could signal a long-term retreat, one that could permanently reshape the future of her career. And then there are those who say she won't have a choice, that legal pressure will force her to return and face the consequences. But one thing is crystal clear. Lively's alleged fabrications, the bombshell court findings, and her high-profile escape have forever altered the course of both her personal and professional life. Whether she's a wronged artist or the architect of her own downfall, this scandal has cemented itself as one of the most shocking Hollywood controversies in years. So, is this the final chapter, or just another twist in a story that's far from over. One thing's for sure, we'll be watching every development as it unfolds. If you love this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next jaw-dropping update. See you on the next one.